discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Gloomhaven, but we are doing our discussion for the capital intrigue scenario, the one that was a community event. Everyone got to vote on the path that it took, and which in theory it was actually a really neat idea. Mm-hmm. Like, I like that. I like that. It kind of gives it a like service thing. Like a lot of video games do like a live service or something like that just keeps updating. I think that if you've played the main game, which that's already a feat in and of itself, just getting through that, you have more and you get to vote and hope it goes in the way that you vote. So this is weird because it was fun literally up until the last two.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed, it just felt like one really long fucking night for our guys.
Yeah.
Does this ever end?
Right, because you saw the progression, and we started out as we want to get a name for ourselves, and then we get what they call
a dagger or something.
Framed.
Yeah.
With a dagger that I don't remember. It's been so long, but it essentially caused us to become wanted, and then we get put in jail. Then we escape from jail, so we're doing a prison outbreak, and then we get involved with an infiltration of the city guard. Then we meet this Miles character, and then we go help and save his family.
Yeah.
So it kind of detoured off a little.
Broke a guy's head in, stole a baby.
Right. Yeah. So we killed him, and it was all for this Sin Ra organization. And then it turned into a jury thing, which was abominably bad.
It was just, you build a dungeon crawl game,
right?
And then it's you're trying to use the mechanics within this game that you created for another purpose into some strange. It was fun in your attacks being your conversationalism.
Right, it was your humor.
Yeah, you're arguing yourself. It's haha, and it's you throw a fucking obstacle and it was worth so much.
And they're like, man, he is very passionate.
Very passionate. That was fun. In that, thinking of it that way, but otherwise, it was kind of arduous.
Yeah.
It's okay, so I have to stack a bunch of damage.
Yeah.
And then frustratingly, I have to take damage. And then, the game has builds. The character builds in this game. And, if you're not just some straight-up damage dealer, these specific scenarios don't really help you at all.
Right.
Little old me who is my whole thing is status effects.
Yeah.
I can't do shit. So the last two rounds, and then, yeah.
Yeah, you were essentially useless the past two rounds, and I wish that they had said, if you want to do this, you need 4 players. Because you fucking do. We did really well up until the last two. Because the last two, you couldn't stack damage onto the jury, or statuses. And the Craig is all about AoE damage. So if I had, the Brute, for example, he's all about dealing a bunch of damage to one particular guy. He has an attack that just does 6.
Nice.
And so he's a fucking heavy hitter. He'd be perfect in scenarios like this. Oh, hey, Captain of the Guard, 12 damage, dead. But no, so the Craig Art had to do AoE damage. By the time, we were able to do the Juror one, and then you jump into this final one, which is the grand fucking thing. And I am all about, for everything, movies, books, games, life, it's all about the destination. Everyone's no, the journey. It's no, the journey turns to shit if the destination is garbage. Because I'm not going to remember the journey. I'm going to remember what happens at the end. And the ending was so punishing, it was so fucking absurdly difficult that it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as we realized, oh, he's going to stack 8, oh, he summons night demons that have disadvantage. No, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way. The fucking jurors that you had to save, had so little health that any attack would kill them. So we couldn't heal them, because they would never stack damage for you to heal them. So, and we had no ways to heal anyway.
And the fact the movement's so costly in this game.
Exactly.
And every turn is precious.
Yeah, so then it's like, okay, so who do we focus? Which I like that part. I like the, okay, like there was strategy on who we had to kill first. Do we kill the guy that's healing everyone and buffing everyone, or do we kill the guy that's spawning everything? I don't know how this would have gone if we went to the guy that was spawning, but he was healing 8, so you can't do anything.
Right, it's like I can't, if I can't do statuses, I've got nothing. Yeah. I mean, I would have still had to burn cards as heavily as I did.
Right.
I mean, to deal the 4s, to deal the 5s, I have to burn a whole card.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like on average, my attacks deal 3, like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I didn't.
It's just in a circle, though.
Well, like some of them are like 3 range 3. I'm just talking about like just the base attack damage is 3. Which I didn't even notice, funny enough, until I was trying to figure out how much to do damage. Then I realized, oh, this is for breaking shit and AoE damage. So 3 to a lot of people is a lot. But unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of people. There was the guy.
Right.
And so we weren't doing enough damage. If you had to burn even if you burned a card, like, and got your ×2, you do 10 damage, I burn a card, and ×2, that's 16 damage. Like, great! But then, if we don't kill him in one fucking hit, then, oh, he heals, so it's half of his health already. And those were probably our best cards and the luckiest draws we'd ever get. So it was so randomized and specific for how to win that it completely killed everything for me. Which is what makes me so mad, because it's like, everything else I thought was great. It felt just like Gloomhaven, like from what I've been playing. Like, we had our struggles, like all the scenarios were whimsical, and I think this was kind of a tester for how he can maybe do future community, because I think there is in works of another community scenario. So maybe it's like, oh, can I do anything different? No, like, I don't think you can. You can do things within your game. Yeah. And that's like trying to pay. Let's play Kingdom Death Monster. Now it's a worker placement. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you can't just throw random shit to try and make a game work. You build mechanics around a certain way. So it's like, no, you can't be whimsical. At least not in my opinion. You cannot be whimsical like that. No. Because it ruins the theme, the flow, and it's ultimately the balance of it. So ultimately, that really killed it, because if like I said, if they had mentioned, hey, you need to have 4 players to do the scenario, fantastic. I'd be much more prepared for a scenario like the final one. Like, oh, okay, well, we have 4 people, now we can manage and start doing hard hits, and then, I mean, the Night Demon would have more health. Yeah. He'd have 40.
But at least then we could do over his heal.
Exactly, because he was always healing 8. So it's like, okay, if we all focus him, like, we do 20, maybe. And okay, now he heals 8, so it's down to 12. Versus, like, us 2.
Right.
Which are not characters that are even meant, like, your characters definitely, like, both of our characters kind of aim in the support a little bit. Your character more so than mine, because I do AoE damage, but you fuck up one particular guy.
I mean, yeah, it's all status effects, which are kind of a support, and then, like, I build off of, but just how I built him, then I build off of the status effect. Right. And so if I can't do that...
And I built all around obstacles and damaging obstacles to deal AoE damage. So kind of in that, it's like, well, I'm not doing a lot, but I'm doing a lot to a lot of people.
Right.
So, which is fun. Like, building these characters were a lot of fun, and whenever I'm playing my solo campaign with the 2 that I got, I'm like, oh man, I could really use Cragcourt, or I could really use the Mind Thief in this right now, just because I know how they play. So it's really interesting that way. Then I'm like, oh, I want to try these out with the 4 characters. Just the synergy between all these weird characters is very exciting. Don't get me wrong, I still love Gloomhaven. Like, this did not sour my taste for Gloomhaven at all. The only thing I'm sour about is just the drastic fucking left turn this campaign took in the last 2. Which was just, God, it was just so, it was so bad. And I was reading through the forum, and a lot of people were like, oh, this was so much fun. And I'm like, I bet it was. I bet it was fun if you had any idea of what was happening. Like, if you knew that the final scenario was going to be insane, or you happen to have lucky draws and so on and so forth. But once I realized, like, you could easily... This is a game that you can kind of math almost anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this is how much damage they do. This is how much they hit. Night demons are always a pain in the ass. Fucking just because of the disadvantage. And all the demons are annoying in some way. Like, in my solo campaign, I did one where it was just summoning all the types of demons. And they are something else. But also another thing that I kind of want to clarify is this game. Obviously, he made this. I can't remember how quickly the episodes came out. Obviously, quicker than what we could play them.
Mm-hmm.
But the whimsy and the weirdness also was matched with uncertainty, and it wasn't clarified because it's like he didn't make them as or put as much time as he did into this thing.
Right. I mean, that's the moneymaker. This was just a cute little,
right.
Here you go, this might be fun for you.
Yeah, so, and it was, like, we had essentially eight sessions that were a lot of fun.
I mean, free of charge, I mean...
That's true. He could have easily made one and been like $20, but he didn't, so that's a good point. And it sounds like based at the end of that it's like, hey, you can go to the deserts, or you can go, like, you might get to vote on where the next community thing is. So I like that. But I hope that he finds a more streamlined way to actually balance it. Or you're limited with the characters that you can play it as. But I can tell you that even if another one came out, I would never try it with 2 again. Like, there's no way.
Right.
It's just in case, it's going to just be like, oh, by the way, here's one that you guys cannot win just because of your characters. Which is just always kind of bad in my book. But I'm curious, so what do you think about Gloomhaven?
Well, Gloomhaven's a neat game.
Because you've only played this.
Right. I mean, yeah, what do you think of it right now? It's really cool. It's a good game for the price.
Yeah.
Definitely. It gives you just so much to do. And, the lack of minis versus, they use the standees, so they save a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I like it for that. It gives you a good role player, a good dungeon crawler. It's fun for friends. It removes, as you so praise it, the whole luck element that is dice that is so heavily relied upon in so many different games.
Right.
And I do like that, and you can really kind of build your character and make them your own.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played the campaign specific because you said like some retire and then you get new.
Yeah. So you have a personal story card that has an objection or an objective. Objection! Once you hit the objective, then your character must retire. But what's really cool about that is that's something that you can aim towards, because once he retires, you open up a new box and you get a new character, like a new type of class that you can play as. But, like, for example, you don't have to fulfill those. Like, Yargo's was to kill every type of demon out there. And I've purposefully made it to where he doesn't kill certain ones because I don't want him to retire.
Yeah.
So you have that freedom. It's not like just random or pops up where it's like, oh, now they're gone. Like, and then my sorcerer, she has to kill like 8 forest imps or something, and those have hardly ever popped up, so I've never had the chance. But you can, you can get closer and closer, and then finally be like, oh, okay, like,
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I'll let you go. I want to play someone else, but you don't have to. And then you can also just house rule that anyway and be like, oh, okay, they didn't retire.
Right. And the game always kind of levels with the levels of your characters.
It does. And it's based off of your, it's the scenario level is like, okay, average level of the party. So if we're both level 5, average level is 5. Divided by 2, rounded up. So everything would be level 3. And it'd be a level 3, meaning that gold is worth 3. The monsters are level 3. The traps do 5 damage, and you gain 10 XP at the end of each scenario. But if you can scale that based off the difficulty you want. Okay, well, it's normally it's normally level 3, but we went very hard, so now we're playing on level 5. So you have a difficulty thing, which I always love, because even though we're both level 5, we're fighting level 3 monsters at a normal thing, which still feels relatively balanced.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, there were some scenarios, in this trek we've been in, there were some that were just like, oh, fuck, I barely made it through, or I even exhausted on a few.
Yeah.
And then some where it's like, that was easy. I have
Yeah.
plenty of cards left, and we just fucking rock him.
Yeah. And that's kind of the balance of the game. A friend of mine actually doesn't like this game because of the hand management. He doesn't like that once you can't play 2, then you're out. Which I disagree with. I think that's one of the best parts. Now there's a few weird things, because it's like when there's no enemies and you still have to play 2 to move. Things like that.
That kind of got to me in one of the early games. There were some growing pains for me, definitely.
Right.
I mean, I definitely like it a lot more than when we first started out. It's like kind of as my character took off a little more.
Yeah, because I remember you.
And I kind of got a groove for his attacks and trying to build, because I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
I was like, I moved here and I summon a rat and then status effects? The fuck?
Yeah, and
how do I move?
Because you build your character, because there's multiple ways that you can build them. Especially because as you level up and complete the scenario things that I never remember to hand out, then you build your modifier deck so you can streamline that, so it's not as random. You kind of know what's in it. Then you start building synergies between players, which is also really cool. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, there's still a couple weird things that are in Gloomhaven. The hand management, where there's no enemies, like how you have to play a card to loot something.
Right.
It's like, but there's no enemies around. So, because this is supposed to represent how tired we're getting.
Right.
And that, which I actually love. I think that thematically makes sense. We can't just keep fighting all these things until... But it's like, yeah, but there's no one there. Why can't this be my breeder? Why can't I just pick up all the loot?
Right. I killed everybody. Can I just pick up the shit?
Yeah, and also the fact that we don't share gold. Like, at all. Hey, you got your gold, I got my gold. So you kind of have to fight for, like, loot. Those are, like, really the only big negatives. And like you said, a big positive for me is just the no luck of dice. You do have luck with your modifier deck, but it seems it's more controllable just because you can build it.
You might do a little less damage, but I might do a little more.
Yeah. And
might whiff.
You might miss, or you might actually do a crit, which is always exciting. But yeah, and I remember whenever we first played it, you were like, yeah, you weren't really digging Gloomhaven, but glad to know that you like it, and you also bought it. So.
Yeah. It definitely has grown on me. I just need to whip it out.
Right. But as for the capital intrigue scenario, there was, I mean, let's see, there was, go through these real quick. There was the opening one, which was the Blood and Glory, which was the arena one.
Right.
That one was, I mean, it was pretty interesting. What kind of bummed me out about this is you have to be up to date with the scenarios. To be like, to put your vote in and just kind of hope that it goes in the direction you want. Some people might not like that. They might be like, no, I really wanted to go here. And then the masses voted for another direction. So you're just stuck at the way of that. But, I mean, that was pretty cool. Then we did the jailbreak that we had to escape from jail and then, you know, sneak past or kill all the guards. And we stuck past them. And you wanted to kill them. Oh, we don't even have our gear. Then we went through the mountain, which was that one, I mean, I can't really remember.
Like wolves chased us?
Yeah, the wolves were chasing us. So that was that one. Then we got to the town with all the snakes that were bursting out of people. So there was that one that were like, what the hell is going on here?
So did any of these scenarios seem like unique to themselves compared to normal Gloomhaven scenarios?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel it may have just been more of a test of different things that they could use in this game?
And that's what I'm thinking. But I was initially thinking that, but then I'm like, well, they already made the game.
Right.
Like they can't. But that's why I was saying maybe for future
expansions,
like future expansions, or for the community scenarios, they can be like, okay, what did most people think about this one? What did most people think about this one? How these work? And most of these, like a lot of them were like the slippery slope that you could slip off the edge or things like that. Not a lot of those are in the scenarios I've played. A lot of scenarios I've played is like, hey, kill all the enemies.
Oh. Okay.
That's kind of your average objective. Or like one of them, I mean, I'm trying not to spoil it, is you have to survive a few rounds. It's kind of like a tower defense thing.
Okay.
And some of the ones in the regular Gloomhaven are. I
think I would probably like Gloomhaven traditional a little more.
Yeah, I very much.
Because I enjoyed when we had some straight up combat, which actually felt kind of rare.
Yeah.
In this stretch, I mean, granted the first one was because it was arena style.
Yeah.
But it was so I didn't like that one was weird because it released one wave of enemies at a time.
Yeah.
So it was just us against a wave of enemies, and then by the time we cleaned them up, the other wave would appear, and I
Right.
thought we were all supposed to be fighting each other, but we're not. Essentially, it's us against literally everything.
Yes, for sure. And then, yeah, so then we, this was the one where we found the Valrath, and then we had to escort him. We had to tie him up and escort him back.
That was weird.
That was one where they kept summoning the demons, and we had to break out a different way.
And we somehow pulled him out of there.
Yeah, pulled
like,
him off.
tied him up immediately.
Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of these kind of went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like, for example, then the peer pressure, we had to convince the Miles guy.
Yeah.
This one fucking sucked. Because this one was like,
Yeah.
okay, so we just wait around for him
That
to
was
slowly convince
dumb.
him. Yeah, this one sucked. So we ultimately had to kill all of them.
Yeah.
And he convinced 2
Yeah.
in the time it took. And I'm like, no, we wouldn't survive by this point. So that one felt a little bit broken. Then we had the chase. This one was the one where the guy's like, I have your baby.
And that one was fun.
I like
you just crushed it.
busted through the door. Oh!
It's like some of the scenarios don't work for our builds, but some just really work for our builds, and that is nice.
Yeah, because I just destroy obstacles, so, baby! and your reaction just still correct. I just, oh shit! You broke through the door. So that one was quick, and then the breaking and entering was just random. I guess we're okay. We went and broke into this dude's house. And that one was weird because we untied one guard. Hey, block the door!
Right.
And so that one just didn't really work.
And then just go hit this damage sponge for a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully the demons haven't caught up to you.
Yeah, I mean, essentially. Then number 9 was the courtroom thing, and then number 10 was the final boss fight. I really wish the final thing had just one boss.
Mm-hmm.
The one boss, the winged thing, I guess spoilers by the way, the winged horror, that would have been just enough to be able to fight. But having to deal with the captain at the same time, it's like, no. Hell, I'd even the winged things and the cultists, like hiding in, perfectly fine. Like the cultist or the captain dies or he yeehaws out of there, so he just runs off. But having to fight him and no, there's just no way. And there was unfortunately no scaling. It wasn't like, if you're playing with 2 characters, take
so
this.
none of this had any scaling.
No.
It was like
the only
from
thing
2 to excuse me.
Yeah, from 2 to 4. Like the only thing that scaled was the levels, which is based off of our party level. But nope, the bosses it was just flat. That's what it was. So it was virtually impossible with 2 players. Which you don't find out because we did well up until the very last one. So that's what kind of bumps me out. So I hope in the future he thinks of, because in all reality, this was very creative. Mm-hmm. All 10 scenarios were very creative. Some didn't work, some we didn't like. Most we did. Mm-hmm. But it's like, okay, you can be creative. Just be like, okay, if you're playing with 2 characters, take this out. If you're playing with 3, take this out. And 4, take this out. Because in the regular game, like, you have... Okay, so if you're setting up this one, just randomly, like, there's up at the top left, that tells you if it's white, you put a normal one in. But if it's black, nothing goes there. So, like, you can look at it and be like, oh, I'm playing with 2 players, so these are the only things that show up. All the ones with black at the top left there's no enemies there.
Okay, that's only if you have more...
Yeah, and then if you have 3 players, it's the top right, and if you have 4 players, it's the bottom. So, in 4 players, all the creatures would be here. But, so it scales to the number of players, the enemies are there, but this didn't. So that essentially made it impossible to do anything with. And I hope in the future that he does that. Because unfortunately in the 4th one, or in the very last thing, like the 10th one, there was nothing. Like, all the enemies were there. Like, and that was it. So, it just did not scale well. So, with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the Capital Intrigue thing?
I mean... It's a difficult rating to give. I mean, being it's within Gloomhaven, it's...
Right.
I mean, it's a fun game. It's...
I guess if you were going, since... I mean, the game, I gave Gloomhaven a 10 out of 10, and it still holds true. So I guess the not so much Gloomhaven, the mechanics. What would you give the Capital Intrigue? Scenarios and the story.
I'll give him like a 7.
7?
That seems to be my go-to. I mean, there was some interesting. I understand that they were just trying to build some new mechanics. It's free of charge.
I guess
Thank you for the service. I appreciate that he is, encouraging his community further.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really argue with that. I mean, cool guy. I understand there's some little balancing issues.
Yeah.
What you get when you try and stretch the limits, I guess, of his game.
I guess if I had paid for this, I'd be even more pissed.
Right. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and unfortunately, very Game of Thrones-esque. All this, and then it terribly.
Oh. all this build up for just shit.
And then, oh great, you get murdered in a courtroom after an awkward conversation with the jury.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I do like that it is free of charge. I think that's actually a very valid thing to bring up. But I think I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna give it a 6, just for my personal taste, because even the weird ones, the ones that didn't quite work out for us, I still kind of liked. It wasn't until the very last 2, and I absolutely hated the final thing. In theme, I liked it was pretty neat, but ultimately I was like, it was just so, I didn't want to play it. As soon as I read the rules, I was like, no, this is gonna be an hour and a half wasted. Yeah. So I think a 6. It's still a little bit above average, and I think that they can definitely do more. Like, they can read the community response, maybe definitely put in some balancing for number of characters in the scenarios, and I mean, I think the community thing is a great idea. I think it's really cool, and you can definitely do more and expand more. But I know he's working on an expansion, a prequel to Gloomhaven, so we'll see where it goes from here. But I think this is definitely a world that can expand further into its own thing. So I'm excited to see what they do with this game. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. But you have anything else? So that's our thoughts on the Capital Intrigue community campaign. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.